I need to say it plainly. I don't care. And I don't want to try. I already feel spent. I've got enough problems of my own. And whatever care I have left over, I save that for my friends and my family, for my people, for my tribe. They're the ones I understand. They're active, they're curious, they're funny. They like music or art, like to travel. They like conversations about big ideas. They're generally decent and tolerant people. Actually, they're kind of awesome, like me. I recognize them. And around them, I feel safe. Not safe as in bad things won't ever happen. They do. But safe as in I can be myself and know that I still belong. They show up for me, and I show up for them. We care for each other, and when needed, we carry each other. And honestly, that feels like it's enough. And I use my identity like a sort of shield. When I go outside of those comfortable communities, I can interact. Transact is more accurate. Without being drawn in. I can be present without being vulnerable. People who don't think like me or talk like me or look like me, they're fine to be around. As long as I can leave anytime I want with no obligations and no strings attached. And I'm telling you this because even now, this still bothers me. Because when I move through the world, I see plenty of people who look profoundly alone. And if I happen to catch their eyes, I see weariness, fear, and despair. Some, it looks like something inside is already dead. And this is when I sometimes lose the courage to maintain that eye contact. And it's when my definition of myself comes and rescues me. Because they're not my people. They need their own people. They should have their own tribe. But what if they don't? Am I okay if my legacy is that at least I didn't hate them? There was a time when my concern for others only went as far as my concern for myself. And I didn't call it selfishness. I call it discernment. I knew who deserved my energy and my time. And if I went outside of my circle, it felt like charity. Something that I do occasionally, often enough to remind myself that I'm still a good person. But Jesus He doesn't heal us by flattering our self-image. He unsettles us. And that unsettled feeling, when apathy no longer felt innocent, that unsettled feeling, that's often the moment when transformation begins. And Paul, he felt this kind of disruption. Paul, he knew exactly what his identity was. It was stark and it was clear. He knew exactly who belonged and who didn't. And the Gentiles definitely didn't belong. In fact, loving them to him felt like it would be a betrayal. But then he was confronted by Christ. Not with an argument, but with a revelation. Paul discovered through that revelation that the chosen people of God, their purpose wasn't exclusion. Their purpose was a vocation. God's people exist for the sake of the world. And so Paul did something astonishing. Paul wrote a letter to a Gentile church in which he said, as it reads in Philippians 1:3, I thank my God every time I remember you. Not, I tolerate you. Not, I pray for you out of duty. I thank my God for you. This is when the gospel takes root in our hearts. This is when we start to see people differently. Paul learned through gratitude. Paul learned through gratitude to see people differently. And it opened a space in his heart for affection. And he learned to use Christ's love until he developed his own. I thank my God for you. Jesus opens our eyes, and we start to see like he does. The gospel doesn't command us to care. The gospel reshapes what we see. And it invites us. And we're invited to see that every person that we encounter was created to bear the image of God. Every person that we encounter is born in dignity and in beauty. And then life happens. And wounds accrue. And fear hardens us. And pain distorts what was once whole. And in our blindness, we see all that damage as the person. But we can't see that way anymore once Christ opens our eyes. We can't unsee the beauty beneath the scars. But sight isn't enough. Just like eyes open for the very first time, we need to be trained to recognize what we're now seeing. And that training begins with gratitude. Gratitude to the Father for creating this precious being that is in front of me, that bears his image. And gratitude to Jesus that my eyes are finally open to let that image in. We train our hearts through gratitude. And that gratitude opens a space for affection for every one of us to appreciate the beauty within. This is the narrow way that we've been searching for. Not some heroic leap that makes us heroes in our community, but a practiced attention to all of those around us. And then something shifts inside of us. And we really do want to care. We truly do. But fear whispers, I've got nothing left to give. And if I move any closer to this person, their burdens are going to crush me. And this is where Paul leads us on the way. Because Paul doesn't carry those burdens of other people in his own strength. Paul brings those people to Christ. Constantly praying with joy in every one of my prayers for all of you. Gratitude leads to joy, and joy makes a space for compassion when we release our anxieties through prayers. This is the thing we've been seeking. This is how we build a legacy of love. We learn to see, and we learn to pray, and we learn to carry others to Christ. It's not some grand gesture that we make that leaves the legacy of love. It's these small steps practiced routinely where we connect with each other. And I've decided I want to start and continue a new daily habit. I'm going to stop throughout my day and I'm going to look around because I've decided that I I really want to see. I want to see, and I want to care. What about you? I'm looking forward to a year of transformation, to truly, deeply let Christ's view of others permeate mine, and to deeply love people who need to be loved, and to share burdens with people who are otherwise all alone. As Christ once did for us, if you're visiting with us today, we do communion once a month. First Sunday of the month. All this New Year stuff. We do it together. There are 2 cups. Take both cups. The bottom cup has the bread. The top cup has the juice. And I encourage you to reflect on who it is that God wants you to see more fully and to open your heart to in a new way today. And then we will enjoy it together. Pastor Yeshua? Jaime?